starting from I'm not going to save you and I'm all that you want. Whatever it is that we want, it could be an object, a reality, a goal, a person, a pleasure, something that provides pleasure, right, within this song. And whatever it is, it's not going to save us, because that's not actually what we're meant to do, or what will actually fulfill us and our inner child. It's something that is hurting us, and we're ignoring that. And I think within that song, especially, like, yes, it is more grounded because it is focused on something that maybe gave us what we needed before, but maybe needed to teach us a lesson. And instead of now reflecting on that and letting it go, we are holding on to it, which is tied within the next song, I think. And that, since that song is the bargaining song, we're doing all of these things at that point in From Here to There. That's like, I will, well, let me preface this. From Here to There, at surface level, is about an alien who is sending a love note to someone on another planet or in another universe, that by the time it reaches them, the alien will already be dead. And the alien says, I don't care if it reaches you by the time I'm dead. I still want to send this note so badly, no matter what, and it's going to take everything that I have within me to get to you, and I don't care. Like, I still want to send that note. And it's bargaining to me, because it's like, regardless of all your efforts, what you actually want will never happen. I'm holding on, and wishing that in the end I'll show you what you're missing, but it never will happen.
Here the alien kind of knows that and accepts that reality.
But it's still fighting.
And in alignment with its values, it's like, I know that there's going to be no rewards of like reciprocity. That's impossible in this situation. But I choose connection and contact and reality. That's something like, it's the alien exists, the recipient of the communication exists, and just honoring that. So how interesting.
And I think because of it accepting that reality is why it's like able to move on into the, like, well, why I took the journey of it into Lonely Nights after that, because all right, we're accepting reality as well as having this like futuristic lens here, and then leading into that with, okay, now that we do understand reality and where what things have happened, we can create our shared reality, our alternative reality after that.
A lyric that has new meaning for me now with the explanation of kind of the narrative component of From Here to There. There's a reference, presumably the alien referring to an interstellar question, from what you call heaven. So that's an interesting moment where this alien has a different awareness than the humans that are being addressed. The alien isn't a part of the humans' like consensus reality. But this thing that the humans call heaven, like the alien has experience of that. It's known differently, it's experienced differently. But there is some kind of, there's a there, like it can be communicated about at the same time as it's different. That seems really intriguing.
What did that lyric mean to you before?
Well, I always found it interesting. That's a good question. I wasn't expecting to be asked the question. So when from what you call heaven. So, I mean, of course, as a human, I think that all of us humans get a sense of, back to the idea of like we create our own heaven and hell. And yeah, so I do a lot of like meditation. So I'm conscious that I have some, although we can't control our environments or what other people do or think or say. We don't have that much control over we don't have complete control over what we do and think and say. Consciously, I don't have complete control over that, obviously. I do have some control over what I let into through my like energetic boundaries, and I do have some control over what inner states I experience, and the more responsibility I have, more awareness I have of what my inner states are, the more I can navigate into having more of certain states and less of certain states. So with that all being taken as a given, then there can be more heavenly states and more hellish states, and I think it is the case that as we're all navigating life in our different ways, so like my experience of these joyful states, maybe through dancing, through meditation, through forming authentic connection with people, like I have my sense of like what these heavenly states are, and as you're navigating through life, or as anyone else is, then you have your own sense too. So we don't have to bring in the alien for it to be the case that some entity is able to be able to say, you know, a sentence where from what you call heaven makes sense. I'm my sense of bliss, my sense of the blissful state.
Right. I think that definitely that lyric also ties to and is a nod to acknowledging everyone's unique perspective and reality. And I think also your description of what you thought about the lyric beforehand is also true. And just at surface level, that's what this song is about. It's this storyline of this alien in love with another person from another reality or universe, whatever it is, as a hyper-futuristic lens to talk deeper on the subject of bargaining for something that we truly want that's past the anger point.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I've been listening lots to the Dua Lipa song "The Sweetest Pie" recently, and it has the question, "You've never been to heaven, have you?" So, and I kind of feel it's with our conversation today about co-creating these different kind of consensus realities, like in different kind of collectives. It's almost like, oh, you think you know what a heavenly time is? Come to the SYM1 show.
Totally. I'll show you.
You've never been to heaven, have you? Like, come, you know, I will show you that with this fantasy. But there is this new, throughout the EP, there's this sense, okay, that claim kind of is being made. You've never been to heaven, have you? I will show you. But then there's a seriousness about like, okay, well, is this sustainable? Are there other kind of blissful states that, you know, that can be, you know, how does this compare? How do we sustain this?
Right.
And how do we collectively commit to allowing this fantasy to seep more into and transform our everyday lives, as opposed to being a place of like escapism.
Truly. And that's the constant question.
Yes.
That's the constant balance we have to face as well. Otherwise, it gets to the point where, going back to this week in the news, are we part of the same team? Like, if you are constantly trying to escape, like, are you actually going to be taking the steps to create that shared reality? And then back to all that you want, like, there's a lot of questions within the chorus as well, saying like, am I all that you want? Is it all that you want? How long will it take for you to suffocate? Like that piece right there is kind of like from the perspective of the object or whatever is being wanted itself, saying like, all right, like how long will you suffer pursuing this that I am, for you to realize that it's hurting you, or for you to realize that you're not going about it in the correct way.
Yeah, reality check time. Yep. And a large part of the reality check is, well, I mean, it's no longer flattering, if ever it was, that I am being treated as an object.
Absolutely,
like,
right.
Obviously, objectifying people, but
totally
is not the way to get to heaven. Or
no, absolutely.
But even to be, obviously that's a very loaded term, object, but to be the love object of someone, but also to have this discernment, and to, you know, even if it does seem, even if it is like a relatively pleasant experience of being the love object, the person is, you know, there's sufficient respect, and so even in that situation, to be in the quandary of like, okay, yes, it's kind of flattering that you like me in that way, but like I care about both of us, and and the truly loving thing for the two of us and for humans involves something. We need something more.
Yes.
I need to. What was that lyric again? Show you what you're missing.
Yep.
And if you could just break out of objectifying me for a moment, please.
Just for one moment.
It only takes one moment for it to kind of, because then what's seen can't be unseen.
But it's crumbled.
Then, I have an inkling of like how we could create something more sustainable that's still heavenly. Yes, like we still want to have the good time. We still want to experience pleasure, but getting beyond the addiction to this particular form is going to be the way for it to not become hell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That balance is truly the heaven piece. So without it, it's, if you hyper focus on anything, regardless of it, if it's a person or goal or an actual object, it all needs balance in order for it to remain special and respected and
honored for what
continue to be pleasurable.
Yeah, so. Honored for what it is and allowed to become what it alone is, like on a path to become. The record as a whole, really, it is. I think the music is delving deeper and deeper into how to get that balance. Yes, we know that to be controlling is like an impediment to growth and flourishing, but without becoming controlling, to be committed to establishing the parameters within which that which we enjoy can be sustained, and that which could emerge will emerge. Let's say just a little bit more about the point that we're led to by the end of the EP, Lonely Nights.
Yes.
And then we'll close by kind of honouring the other people involved in the project as well. So far, all we've focused on with Lonely Nights is this invitation, our starting point. Come find what sparks magic. Forget life, it's tragic. There's a reference to the birth of a new cycle in this song. There is a comment on humanity. Humanity is depicted in one line as forced to rely on what's inside, which makes me think again of, we were just talking about the addict who has the experience of pleasure. We're all, to different degrees, addicted to different things. It relates to the sense of predictability. Oh, I get this sensation when I go to this thing.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so it kind of this idea of humanity forced to rely on what's inside, I think relates to that kind of zoomed in interpersonal situation where there's one individual who, in a way that no longer serves them, is returning to this same thing that's being craved. Could you just reflect a bit more on that final song?
Yeah.
With reference to those aspects of it and or anything else. What point are we led to by the end of the EP?
Yeah, I mean, my perspective of it is, absolutely. The things that you mentioned, I think, are able to be seen right off the very bat, because the opening line is, "I'm up above the plane." So I am viewing things from a bird's eye view, from that omni view of here's everything that's happening, and I'm seeing it now for what it really is, with all of the nuances, not just for what's in front of me in like a small perspective. I'm viewing everything as a whole, and within that, like, I see where we can be renewed now.
Totally, yeah.
And so finding what sparks magic, what truly can give like that heavenly feel, something that's really is what we've been pursuing the whole time, but without realizing it.
Yeah.
And this song was written a long time ago. It was actually completely written by I Died. And then we wrote Dark Matter together. So this song is even a precursor to Dark Matter, but was never developed to be released until now, because we just had things to do and it wasn't developed in the right way just yet. But I'm so happy now that it's coming after Dark Matter as this acceptance piece at the end of this EP, because it just makes so much sense for it now that there's this kind of lead up to it. Send Your Lonely Nights Away is the chorus line, and it, I think, fully kind of summarizes as well, like, okay, we've been pursuing this object, person, whatever it may be that's giving us pleasure, and we finally are able to see things from this bird's eye view as a whole, what's been going on, and we are now able to, we've done that introspective work, and we're able to see that we need to send our lonely nights away with whatever we've been pursuing this whole time that's actually been hurting us, that's been making us lonely. And there's a lot of nods to technology within this song as well. Like the power cell has paved the way. And so that's definitely I Died and I viewing things through this futuristic lens, through this matrix lens, like, oh, we're in the metaverse, we're in the matrix. But within that as well, I think it also touches on just kind of magic in general, or what can feel magical to a person once they've had a aha moment, a final like realization of, oh my gosh, this whole time I've been doing this and I actually have been hurting myself, hurting others, abusing whatever it is. And now I'm going to pursue my true destiny, which is that heavenly space.
Yeah. So whether or not the other person that we were addressing in From Here to There has been shown what they're missing, it remains, what we know for sure is that we have now discerned something that we weren't before. We've been shown, or we've shown ourselves or allowed ourselves to see something that we were missing. And we are able to recalibrate, and we're not giving up this, quest for fantasy it's not escapism. We remain committed to living this way. We're still going dancing.
Right. Yes.
We're still,
of course.
we're still. And I think that's key. Like it's fun, and we certainly are going to continue going dancing. But something that this record, the story isn't ending with realizing, oh, we fabricated this hollow reality. It doesn't live up to expectation. Let's get rid of it. Let's live in everyday reality. There's still this commitment to creating something, to letting and having the inner child like take the reins and be like, yeah, no, I knew this exists. I felt it. Let's make it more real. There's still that.
Yes.
And so there is no neat answer. Therefore,
there isn't.
As much as it would be nice to be able to, in our more philosophical reflection on the themes, to be able to, come to a solution within the next couple of minutes.
we'll certainly try. No.
We'll just, sadly, we'll just have to keep on going dancing.
Yep. Exactly.
And see whether doing so with this commitment to remaining discerning, this newfound ability, to quote the final song, to kind of lift up and take this aerial view. And I find it interesting that it's all we know is that it's a view that encompasses more, where we can see where things are not lining up and how things could change. And presumably we could kind of zoom out more and then keep on having that experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To me, the question of is it actually an all-seeing, omni view, or is it just one that encompasses more than the previous time?
Sure.
It's an interesting question.
I would say yes, due to the bridge piece, which is don't release me from this cage, I'm trapped and no, I can't be saved. I think from that perspective, we realize that we are still fighting to see more, to have more of that capability to see what's going on and fight what's going on, which may bring us back to previous grief stages as well within the song. But within that, I think, it's not omni, because we are still trapped, and if we were truly free, it would just be like, everything's all good.
But now we have this sensation of emergence, and the expansion, and going back to the idea that as things become predictable, we all, to varying degrees, become addicted to what we associate with bringing pleasure.
Right.
That, of all the things to become addicted to, this new sensation that's honored in the song,
right. Yep.
where we recognize, oh, there's the missing piece. Now, with this new ability, I can recalibrate. That is a good thing to be addicted to.
Right. Yes.
Or to yearn for more of.
Yes.
Or to, and I think it relates to flow, and striking this balance of, I know what to predict because I've kind of created this reality, but no, there's this thing that goes beyond what I've controlled, and let's integrate that and recalibrate in light of that. That is a good habit to get into. Truly,
and I mean, hopefully by this point too, from that perspective, they know by that point that they shouldn't be getting addicted to anything, that it should just be truly balance all the time. And that could also be tied to sending your lonely nights away. refocus, recalibrating always and consistently on pursuing that balance, which I think also is acknowledged within I'm Trapped and Know I Can't Be Saved. Like, it is going to be a constant battle, and that I think is where the acceptance of that comes in this song.
Yeah. Yeah, nice to kind of, before we got stuck down a different rabbit hole.
Yes.
Thanks for making sure. So now that we're back down to earth, we haven't gone down a rabbit hole.
Right.
Let's close by giving some shout outs and honoring the other people involved, and many of whom will be present at the 7th Street entry.
Yes.
On the May 26th.
May 26th.
So to close, could you highlight it?
Yes. All of my co-producers, Ro, I Died, Shading the Sun, Ro completed, Ro was on, and Shading the Sun were both on Midnight Crush, and Ro co-produced Midnight Crush with me. Midnight Crush is probably like the most production I have within any of the songs. And then I Died, produced This Week in the News, and we both created the lyrics for that. Shading the Sun produced All That You Want, and I did all the lyrics. Ro did all of From Here to There, and we both did the lyrics on that one. And Ro also did Lonely Nights on a production. She actually reproduced the song. It was originally produced and composed by a friend of mine, Trenton Abbott, and then I Died created the lyrics for Lonely Nights. So big shout outs to all of them, and really I'm so happy with what we created together. It's been truly a magical experience for it to come to light.
You found what sparked magic.
Yeah, truly. Yes.
And enjoyed that particular rabbit hole for all it had to offer.
Yes.
And now the bunch of you are hopping around ready to explore a new rabbit hole.
Truly.
Along with Diva J and Scraps.
Yes.
We can all have an evening-long journey into a shared rabbit hole
shared reality. Totally.
On May 26th. Who are Diva J and Scraps? And how do they relate to everything?
Yeah, so this will be a showcase of sorts of Rotoscope Recordings, which is Ro's production company. And so we are all artists that have music produced by Ro. So Diva J is more hip hop leaning, but definitely still pop. And then Scraps is definitely more so pop leaning, and both of them will be also releasing their EPs as well during the showcase. So it'll be truly a powerhouse of pop evening. It's going to be alternate reality for sure. So I'm really excited for it.
Sustained.
Oh yeah.
At least through an entire evening.
Yes, we all, I know, are on the same team for that one.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. What a nice point to get to.
Yeah.
And you can, Joy, I'll be there.
Yes.
Perhaps you'll be there too, person that is being addressed. Or people that are being addressed. Come and join us, be on the same team as us.
Go to the show.
Come to the show with us. The 7th Street entry, May 26th. It is a triple
EP release.
EP release. Yes. For Diva J, Scraps, you just heard about, and of course, SYM1. So thank you very much for going on this journey with us. Do please join us for that one, Thursday, May 26th at the 7th Street entry. And I'm sure there will be further, don't forget about the adventures that you can take in the land of fantasy. And one last time, how do people go on these adventures?
Yes, so you can check out Fantasy by going to Placebo Records. That'll be placebo-records.com, or any of our social media at placebo-records is our handle, and then Fantasy's handle is with a PH, Fantasy devil eye.
And those are all the rabbit holes that we have to offer for the time being.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm Simon Calder. This is SYM1. This has been Back to the City, and we will see you on May 26th at the Cemetery Entry.